Welcome to another reaction episode on this Sunday morning. We got a lot to get into. We didn't really have any real big surprises on the major side of college football. We did have a few throughout, like fringe playoff teams, but like Ohio State took care of business. Indiana had a scary one, but they won. Texas A&M took care of business. Alabama took care of business. Georgia took care of business. Uh, Texas Tech blew the doors off BYU. Oregon had a weird one, but like really the real crazy ones came on the nightcap.
Yep.
Virginia loses to Wake Forest, and Louisville loses to Cal. And this was not a nightcap. This was a midday game. Washington lost to Wisconsin. Those are three games that I didn't see coming. I don't know if anyone in America really saw that coming. But let's kind of get into that Oregon Iowa game. That it was kind of exactly what we thought it would be: rainy,
Yep.
ugly,
Yep.
2-0 for most or for a lot of the game, and then it was just everything we said it would be. It was, and
Yeah.
the final score was what we said it would be. It was just, but what I didn't really get to watch the whole game. I got to watch spurts of it here and there. What happened in that game, Justin?
Iowa just couldn't. They had a look at the end of the game. They just, on the offensive side of the ball, they just couldn't get anything running. They were running the ball fine. I don't know why they really. It seemed like they were running the ball good enough, but I guess it was because maybe they were down. They couldn't just stick to the run. Um, they have one guy on their team that's a decent receiver. He's kind of
Yeah,
like a prototypical Iowa receiver. Um, but they just couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball. And it's weird to me because it's like this is where I get into like what do you do situations um like I know Iowa's gonna fall out of the thing, which is like fine, like that's whatever. That's what's supposed to happen because now they have three losses. I guess my only question is like they had a 2 point loss at home against a number nine team and they're ranked number what are they 20th? It's like okay,
mm-hmm.
so there's not 2 points in between 9 and 20. That is what they're saying. If you're gonna bump them down
Right.
and kick them out, so that's where I kind of like it. It's hard for me to like look at the rankings and be like, oh, okay, Iowa fell out because they have their third loss, and it's like, well, I mean, I get it, but it's hard for me to get if that makes sense. But in this game specifically, it was just like I firmly believe, like I still think it would have been a low scoring game, um, if it would have been like not raining and stuff like that, because Iowa had a low scoring game against Indiana. But I think if it wasn't raining, Oregon probably would have beat them by a little bit more. But that's what football is all about. Is we don't play in domes. So
Right.
you got to kind of deal with the weather as it comes.
Well, and it's just kind of been par for the course on Iowa.
Yep.
Um, it does hurt them that Penn State sucks because they did
Yeah.
beat Penn State. Um, well, I mean, I guess Penn State doesn't really suck. I wouldn't
I
say they
I
suck.
I put
I
them
hate
on
saying
this.
that.
Yeah, I put them on the same level, but even better because everybody had them ranked. They're a lot like a Florida to me, but they're still a better team. Like
Right.
we
Like
can't say
yeah.
we can't say that everybody had them in the top five in the nation coming into the season, and they were there for 3 weeks. Now, granted, they didn't play anybody, and they played this Oregon team really close, and then after that, they just suck now. And it's like, well, I mean, yes, they're not great, but I wouldn't say that they suck. Like Clemson sucks. Like they're talented,
Right.
but like you can see the difference. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't know, and that's kind of like the Iowa thing, or not Iowa, but Indiana versus Penn State. Penn State did the same thing they did to Ohio State. It just they get stuck around a little bit longer against Indiana. They came out ready to play. In your first half, that is the original Penn State that Oregon played and the first 3 weeks, played. And then they started losing and lost their coach, but they still get up for those big games.
And I just think it's just one of those things for Iowa. You lost to Iowa State.
Yep.
Kind of in the same fashion. You lost to Indiana in the same fashion.
Yep.
You lost to Oregon. It's just every big game they've played. Every game they've played with a number by the other team's name or the rivalry or whatever. They play great defense. They stick around. They just can't get it done.
Yep. And that's kind of been Iowa for pretty much ever since we've been alive. I mean,
yeah. They go on the road next week and play USC, so I will see how that defense holds up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, did you watch the Indiana Penn State game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's another game that I kind of spottily. Fox and CBS are killing me, man. But from what I was watching, I mean, Penn State. What is up with Penn State's like? It just seems like in the worst moments they let something happen. Like that's I mean, I know against Ohio State they kind of just fell apart in the second half.
Yeah.
But it seems like in a lot of these games they just make a blunder and that's what beats them. And
if you want me to be honest, it's their coordinators. Yes, James Franklin had this problem, but it's not all on him. The coordinators there are awful. Andy Kotelnicki is probably one of the worst coordinators I've ever seen in my life. And I know he did good at Kansas when he was there. I think he was at Kansas. I think he was all right, but I've seen somebody breaking down all 22 film like last week, and it was against Ohio State. And it was when they ran that like double option reverse pass or whatever. I don't know if you watched the game, but they had a reverse called, and then the guy who got the reverse threw it back to the quarterback for him to throw it down the field, like a little trick play. There wasn't even anybody running a route. And it's like stuff like that. And you see it all the time. Like, if you really watch their offense, like, there's stuff that they'll do, and it's just real gadgety, I guess you could say. And then Jim Knowles on the other side, he was at Ohio State for a little bit. He gives up a lot of points in big games. He just always has until the playoff came, and then, whatever happened. But his defense is very hard to gather and kind of put all together for a player. But yeah, I think it's their coordinators, man. They just don't have great coordinators. Jim Knowles is okay, but Andy Kotelnicki's awful. And I think this was Indiana's like, okay, we need to get stuff back to where it was at the beginning of the season. We've been blowing teams out. So I kind of think it was kind of one of those type games for them. Now, granted, if Penn State was, if they only lost to Oregon, Ohio State, they might be a top 15 team. But, talent-wise, they're a very talented team. That run game is legit. But as in Indiana, if you're really a top 5 team in the nation, you should handle Penn State just like Ohio State handled them. I mean, if you want to set yourself up for, being in that conversation as a top 5 team, you have to do top 5 team things. Kind of like Texas A&M did this week.
Yeah. And talking about Texas A&M, I will say this, or talk about Indiana real quick before we move on. Indiana's defense, I will say in the run game, they did impress me from what I did get to watch. Like, I know that this is a Penn State team that has all this, their season's over. But they still have 2 of the best running backs in the country. They still have a, decent offensive line, run blocking wise. And Indiana did limit them a lot in that and made Penn State have to make plays through the air. And Penn State kind of converted some of those. But, like, I don't know. I was pretty impressed with Indiana's defense. I was impressed. I mean, not to say that I wasn't impressed with other people's defense when they played Penn State, but It just that one specifically yesterday. I didn't really believe in Indiana's run game defense yet.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you something though? Because this is just something that I like, and I don't know if this was like if this happens every year. I know certain years like it is what it is, but like if you watch the Indiana game yesterday, Gus Johnson was freaking out about the last play of the game, which is like you're supposed to. That was an
Mhm.
like that play was crazy. Um, but then he kept talking about Fernando Mendoza and like that was his Heisman moment. And it's like, so you have to suck for the entire game and then lead them back in the fourth quarter to have your Heisman moment? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I know what
Yeah.
they mean by Heisman moment, but like, I just don't like agree with like. I mean, he didn't have a bad game, but he went 19 for 30 for 218 yards, one touchdown, one interception. And
I
they're
think that's
like,
the worst game he's played all year,
yeah,
personally.
yeah, for sure. This game, and then I don't think he played good last game, but this game was one of the worst ones that he's had. And they kept talking about he just had his Heisman moment, and I'm like, I mean, okay, but I just don't understand. I mean, to me, like you can't suck the whole game and then lead them back in the fourth quarter and say you have your Heisman moment.
I mean, I feel
Personally,
like a
that's
Heisman
just me.
moment is something that kind of comes organically. It's not
Yeah,
something that you're playing a team that just fired their coach, their starting quarterback's hurt,
yeah,
they haven't won a game in forever, and
yep,
you pull something together at the end. That's not a Heisman moment. Whenever I think of Heisman moments, I think of Lamar Jackson against Florida State, Derrick
yep,
Henry against LSU, um, Marcus Mariota at any point in the year he won it, Johnny Manziel against Alabama. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, yeah,
whenever I think of these Heisman moments, I don't think of on the road against a crappy. I mean, as far as Penn State's been in the last since COVID, this is the worst team they've had.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
I would not say that that's a Heisman moment, and
No.
I agree with you. I hate when people say that because I heard someone saying that about Diego Pavia against LSU. It's like, why are we? That's something you look back on whenever they're
Yeah.
showing the season in review. When everyone's in New York and they're showing highlights, you show the highlight of Derrick Henry stiff arming LSU's defense running into the end zone. You don't show
Yeah. Yeah. I just
Penn
don't.
State.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like, I know what they mean by Heisman moment. Like, he performed in the biggest game, but, like, it's not a Heisman moment. You've sucked
We'll
all
see.
week long or all day
Yeah.
long. And then at the end, you throw some passes. And, sorry, but the pass at the end of the game was all the receiver. It wasn't like it was a crazy pass for him. That was strictly a receiver. Like I don't I don't know what you want me to say. It's not like he like threaded the needle and like dropped it in a bucket.
I don't. I think the thing that sucks is really Indiana's not going to have their Heisman type of. He's not going to get put into a Heisman type of moment until he plays in the conference championship. Because what do they
Yeah.
got left? Purdue and someone else.
Yeah, they don't have anybody. They have Wisconsin, which I don't know. I guess Wisconsin can beat them. I mean, not really, but and then they have Purdue. Yeah,
Yeah,
so no
and I
nobody.
mean maybe
They
his
have a
Heisman
bye
moment
week.
could have came against Oregon.
Yeah, I think it's going to
Maybe.
be if Ohio State makes it to the Big Ten championship game. I think it's going to be the Heisman moment comes at the Big Ten championship game. I mean,
Do they? I
personally,
didn't know if they voted on that before or after the conference championship.
I think technically they're
It might
supposed
be
to.
after.
Technically, they're supposed to wait until after, but a lot of people turn their votes in like before. They're not supposed
Uh,
to, but they do.
Well, I don't know if there's that's another thing. Before we get into the rest of these games, has there been a dominant player all year? Really? I mean, has there been
No,
someone? And I'm not saying dominant in a sense of like you can dominate your position, but I mean in like it captures the nation's like attention. Like Baker captured the
yeah,
whole nation's attention.
no, there's not
So
somebody
did
this year.
Manziel, Lamar. I mean, I just don't see that this year. Pavia, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, And
I don't think so, but
the thing that I will say too is, and I don't know how true this is, and I don't know if everybody's doing it or if it's just Ohio State, but like we're not running plays at all. Like we're set to run. We run the fewest plays in FBS as a program. We're set to play like 1 to 2 less games than people in the top 5 of running plays, like a Tennessee. We're supposed to play a whole less game than Tennessee is this year just because we run less plays. And I don't know if other teams are doing that too, or if it's kind of just us. Because that's where you kind of run into the like, you don't have as many stats because you're not running as many plays. You played one whole less game. I'm not just saying that for Ohio State. Like, oh, well, Julian's saying, well, yeah, obviously, if he would have been throwing the ball like he has been in the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, all season, then yeah, I mean, he would probably have stupid numbers. But I don't know if other teams are doing that too. Because I know Ohio State's doing it purposely. Like, we're doing it on purpose. It's not just like we're choosing, like, oh, well, it just is what it is. Like, no, they've talked about how we're purposely running less plays, but I don't know if that's all around college football or if we just don't have that player because everybody's, split up. You don't have that super team anymore, like we used to. I mean, it just seemed like it was Alabama every year, and then LSU had their 1 year, and then Georgia had their 2 or 3 years, and then now it just seems open. And same thing with the Big Ten. I mean, it used to just be Ohio State, Michigan, and now it's kind of Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Penn State, or not Penn State, sorry, Indiana. So I just think it's because more teams have more talent, so it's hard to kind of boost your stats, I guess you could say.
well, I just mean in a sense of like
Taking over the
who is
country.
must-watch TV right now, even though their team might not be like Chandler Morris for me. Okay, Virginia's quarterback. He's kind of
Yeah,
must-watch TV for me. If he's on ESPN, I like to watch Virginia. But like we don't have a Robert Griffin III in the
no,
Big 12 going crazy. We don't. I mean, we don't have anything in the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore to watch after. It's like
yeah.
it just feels like, in a sense, part of that is missing from the game this year. We don't
I mean,
have
I
that
think,
one electric player that everyone's like. We don't have a Leonard Fournette.
yeah, I guess, I mean, the closest thing you would get to it would be like a Jeremiah Love, I guess.
Yeah,
He's pretty fun to watch. And I guess Jeremiah Smith, I guess, would be the only
that's all I can
two.
think of.
And a lot of Jeremiah Smith is because of last year. He's having a good year this year. I'm not going to diminish what he's doing, but it's nowhere close to like Devontae Smith type season where I would justify him winning the Heisman by stats. Um, Other than that, I really like watching the Tony kid from Miami. I know
Yeah,
like his stats just aren't like he doesn't have very good stats, but I do I do like um Tony. I don't even know how many yards he had this week, but I mean I don't even think he really. Yeah, I mean, he only had 2 receptions for 12 yards, but when I watch him, like there's games every time it seems like I turn Miami on, he's doing something crazy. And I know he's a freshman. I'm not saying he wins it, but I don't really. And I mean, I guess Marcel Reed from Texas A&M would be the other
yeah.
one
That's I guess the only one I could really think of as well. Damn it! I just clicked out of my tab showing me all the scores. Well, let's
because
kind of get into the rest of these games once this pulls up.
yeah, I mean Marcel Reed would
But you're
probably
definitely
be
right.
the one.
Marcel Reed is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would. Now that you say that, you're probably right about that. That probably is the one. Okay. Uh, Alabama LSU. Did you get to watch any of that game? I got to watch all of it pretty much.
I watch it, but I had to watch it on my TV. So you know how my
Yeah.
TV is. I mean, because I'm not paying for ESPN. So I got to watch a little bit of it. It didn't even the score was a lot closer than what the game entailed it to be. It did not. I mean, LSU kind of seemed like they were gonna get some stuff going, and then every time they seemed like they were getting stuff going, they got shot in the foot. I mean, it it's kind of what you expected. Alabama kind of threw the ball however they wanted to on that defense, and then they couldn't run the ball. I mean, that's been Alabama all year long. And then, I mean, Garrett Nussmeier's awful. I mean, horrible. I don't know. I don't know of another quarterback. Actually, yeah, Spencer Rattler. The year that he was supposed to win the Heisman and then came in and laid an egg for the whole season. This is Spencer Rattler 2.0 with a little less melanin.
I just think the LSU offensive line is one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen some bad Arkansas ones, and I'm not going to say that this LSU one is worse than some of the bad Arkansas ones, but it's up there. I mean, they are under constant duress as soon as they snap the football, and it hasn't mattered who they've played. They did it against La Tech in the very beginning of the year. They're doing it against Alabama. It's exciting for me. Maybe Arkansas wins next week. Maybe. I doubt it. I'm not betting on it, and I don't think it'll happen. But it would be pretty cool. But I'm going to say we do have a chance in that one. But I think the biggest thing is, like, it's not that I think that Garrett Nussmeier just suddenly forgot how to play quarterback. But if you really look at this LSU team, and what did I say coming into the year? They lost Kyron Lacy. They lost that other wide receiver. They're losing the left tackle, losing their center. They're losing all these offensive linemen. Garrett Nussmeier is not as good as everyone thinks he is, and Brian Kelly was a fraud. What exactly has played out all year?
Yeah. I mean,
he doesn't have weapons. Caden Durham is good, but they can't block. And if you can't throw the ball, the defense is stacking the box. The defenses, and I'll say this about LSU, the defenses that they've played aren't bottom 50 defenses. They're not. They're playing top 50 defenses, which that doesn't say that you're a great defense, but you're playing capable defenses pretty much your whole conference slate. I mean, you've played some pretty decent defenses. Vanderbilt, Alabama now. Ole Miss, top 50 defense. I think actually they rank like 30th or something like that. And whenever you can't throw the ball, you can't make that defense back off enough to give your running back a shot. You also can't throw the ball if you can't block for one second. You can't block for 1 second, you can't throw the ball. And LSU has not been able to do that all year. And this was another thing of that. I will say this, Ty Simpson played good at times of this game. There was other times it felt like this game honestly did feel like a Jalen Milroe. Like, if they have Jalen Milroe, they lose this game. Because
for sure.
They couldn't make mistakes. You could not make mistakes in this game. You could not, but you just needed someone to kind of get you first downs, keep the game going. Ty Simpson was perfect in that role. He just didn't make the wowza plays that he's kind of made throughout the year. It's a good one for Alabama. I don't think it's it's what I wanted to see to feel comfortable about that ranking. I was nervous going into this game for Alabama. Let's kind of talk about BYU Texas Tech real quick. I got to watch this game early night cap, or early day cap, noon cap, whatever the hell. BYU just wasn't talented enough. They had a great atmosphere at Texas Tech. Cool uniforms. Did you see the uniforms by any chance?
Yeah, they were sweet.
They were super sweet. Probably my favorite uniforms I've seen all year.
They were badass.
This is my thing. I hate wearing white at home as a football team.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like that. Yep. I'll just say it now. I'm a very traditional person when it comes to that. But Texas Tech did it right. I didn't see the stupid tortilla throws. That's another thing that's important to me. Why are we throwing stuff on the field? Why are we throwing stuff on the field? What sense does it make for anyone to throw stuff on the field? But Texas Tech, beyond that, played a great football game. They got after BYU. They didn't let BYU's quarterback's not good, by the way.
And he had a whole thing about him in the pregame, and I don't know. I think he's overrated personally.
I think if they have what was it, Retzlaff, whatever, the guy that went to Tulane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not great. I don't think he's great, but he's better than that guy. That guy's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, I agree.
I mean, BYU, and I'll give him some grace in this since I just gave Garrett Nussmeier some grace. He was under a lot of pressure, and they couldn't really run the ball very well. But Texas Tech, man, they're a playoff team. I mean, they looked like it yesterday. They didn't just score
Yeah.
40, but they held BYU to 7 points. They moved the ball very well. I mean, looking at some of the stats, 219 for the quarterback. I can't figure out how to say his first name. Behren. Barron.
Baron Morton. Yeah, I
Whatever it
guess.
is. I mean, he had a good game, but it wasn't like a great offensive game for Texas Tech. They just did what they had to do. They got a lead, held it, clap it up, go to next week. I mean, that was a good game. What did you think of it?
Yeah. I mean, BYU came in and they fought for a while, but I think this is where it really separates itself to where Texas Tech is like a Big Ten or an SEC school talent was, and this is kind of where you see it. Their talent level is ridiculous. Um, I mean, yeah, and that's what it came down to is they're just more talented than BYU, and they kind of punched and punched and punched, and then finally talent kind of took over, and they got into the 7th round of the boxing match, and hit him with a 2-punch combo and knocked him out. Because it comes down to talent, and that's where like BYU held their own for as long as they can, and eventually you just can't play out of your body or play above your talent for that long while the other team is just kind of, I don't want to say coasting, but just doing what they usually do.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't any there I don't know. BYU was kind of helpless in this one.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with them. Like that, I mean, the talent was just so different that there's really nothing you can say.
West Virginia beats Colorado. Coach Prom falls out of bowl eligibility. What a disaster that year has been. Arizona beats Kansas. I guess Kansas is just not. I don't know. Disappointing. Disappointing. I guess the last one, not the last game I want to talk about, but let's talk about. Does Notre Dame deserve to be in the playoff? I mean, do they deserve to be? I mean, they beat USC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. Personally,
I'm not talking about talent, how talented they are, or if they could win a game or any of that. I'm saying off of resume,
yeah,
do they deserve to be in the playoff? I mean, that's just a question that I've been asking myself over and over and over and again. I mean, I can't fault you for losing to Texas A&M. I can't really fault you for losing to Miami. But who have you beat besides? I mean, okay, you got USC. I'll give you USC. You beat Arkansas. Ooh.
well, now hang on, because the Arkansas win, I don't think it's like, oh, hang your hat on the Arkansas win. I think it's more along the lines of like how they went into Arkansas and did something that nobody else has been able to do. And I'm not like, when I say this, I'm not sitting here telling you like, oh, they just did this to Arkansas. But who else has done that to Arkansas? Nobody. Nobody else has done that to Arkansas. Nobody in the SEC has done it to Arkansas. Nobody outside the SEC has done that to Arkansas. And it's not like Arkansas went to Notre Dame. It was at Arkansas. And I know like that's where like I'm not saying transitive property because Arkansas had a close game with Texas A&M, but like you can't like what I'm getting to is like Arkansas has played every team in the SEC super close. Like they have more one-loss, or one-score losses this year than I think Nebraska did in 2021, which was crazy. But what Notre Dame did to them was a big deal. I mean, especially because nobody
See, I
else has
don't think
done
it's a
that to
big
Arkansas.
deal because there was no fans after the middle of the second quarter.
And why is that?
Pittman got fired. Do what?
Yeah. And the reason there was no fans is because they just absolutely boat raced him in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, and I could.
And
I
I'm
mean,
not
that's a good
saying
argument,
hang
and
your
I don't love to say that I hate that Arkansas has played so many games close. Uh, Trust me, I hate that we've lost. I don't hate that we've played them
yeah
close. But let's say, I mean, if Arkansas loses by 3 points, I mean, yeah, okay, I can see. I don't know. I see what you're saying. They definitely, if you look at common opponents, I do agree
yeah
with that. I mean, that is true. I mean, I can't say that that's not true.
yeah.
I
And I'm
just
not saying like that's even going to be talked about.
right,
Like
and
that's
it
not
should
even.
be talked about a little bit. I do think it should be mentioned,
Yeah, I think
but
what really hurts them is Miami not being good. If Miami was in the top five, and then it's like, well, we have two one-score losses to Miami, or two one-score losses to top five teams. Like, yeah, they should definitely be in. Those are their two losses, but Miami not
yeah,
being so good hurts them. And then the Texas A&M loss. I mean, Texas A&M got gifted that game. It's not like Texas A&M just outright beat them. Now, you can't put every game on one, whatever. But how you miss a field goal, or not a field goal, an extra point.
they
I
muffed the
mean,
extra point. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So, and I know that goes into the game. Like, you can't just, like, that's part of it. Like, the ball falls one way or another. But I think they do deserve to be in just because it's like, who else are we going to put? For one, who else would we put in over them? Do you think Missouri should be in over them? No, I don't think so. Vanderbilt? No, I don't think so. Washington? No. Missouri? No. Um, I'm trying to BYU? No. Um, so it's like I think,
off talent of teams, no, I agree with you.
yeah,
But I just hate how we had this whole conversation about strength of record
yeah,
and strength of your schedule, and you do all and this is another thing I hate. I hate how Notre Dame's everyone talks about how bad our schedule is. Everyone just loves to talk about how we don't play anybody. Like you don't play anybody. You okay, this is what you did. You played Miami week one. Whenever does
yeah,
week one really count? I mean, it counts. Yeah, it counts. Are you the same team? No. Is Miami the same team? No. Okay.
yeah,
You play Texas A&M a home game. Does that? I mean, that game counts. Yes, but you Ohio State even, and I don't think Ohio State's really played anyone, but since Illinois probably that like I
yeah,
think poses them a threat. Ohio State's played better teams. Um, Iowa's played better teams. Indiana's played better teams. Oregon's played better teams.
yeah,
Alabama. I mean, it's just everyone around them to me has played a harder schedule, besides maybe the ACC schools, and it's just like I just hate how Notre Dame. Oh, throw them in at 10. If they win out, they're in. Why? Why are they just in?
yeah. I don't know. And it's hard for me too because like strength of record and schedule and like how do we determine what the strength is? Like who determines like they have the hardest schedule? You know what I mean? And I'm not disagreeing with you. Their schedule does seem easy. It is extremely easy. But that's a big talking point, not just in our podcast, but in a lot of people's podcasts. Who like, oh well, their strength of record or their strength of schedule is good. It's like, okay, how do we determine strength of record or strength of schedule? Because Penn State's not a good, like they're not a good football team, so they're not going to be good on your strength of record. But are they a strong team talent wise? Would they be a tough team to play if they showed up every week? Probably so.
Well, I'd say
So
you'd rate that win better than you would rate an NC State.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So where I'm getting at is like what, like because for the longest time, and I don't have their schedule pulled up. And I mean, I can, but for the longest time, everybody was talking about Alabama, how they played four ranked teams in a row, and that was they played Georgia, they played Vanderbilt, they played Missouri, they played Tennessee. Does Tennessee need to be ranked? No.
No, neither does Missouri.
Does
Not without their quarterback.
does Missouri? Does Vanderbilt? They just had a close home game against Auburn, and I know Auburn's different, but does Vanderbilt? I give them top 25. They should be ranked in the top 25. So it's like, okay, so now they don't have four ranked wins. And like that's where I start like it's hard for me. Just like Iowa just got knocked out. Well, are we going to call that cannibalism, or is it just like Iowa's just not that good anymore? Or BYU, or what? Even some of these teams, it's like, okay, we're going to hang our hat on this being a tough schedule, but then you go back at the end of the year and you look at it, and like, yeah, I mean, it was in the moment in time, just like Ole Miss when they beat LSU. Everybody acted like that was a big win, and I didn't think it was that big a win because I didn't think LSU was that good. And now, I mean, LSU's 5-4 or 4-5. They're 5-4. So it's like, well, that's not that big of a win.
But I will say this is what I'm saying. Okay,
Yeah,
NC State. Would you rate LSU better or worse than NC State? Probably better. I mean, NC
I
State is
mean,
terrible this year.
yeah.
It's, I mean, 4-3 in the ACC. I mean, would you rate? Okay, so Iowa. How would you
Iowa's
rate
better than
Iowa
LSU.
better than
Iowa's
LSU?
better
But
than
I'm saying
yeah,
against. I'm just reading off Notre Dame's schedule, by the way.
yeah.
Syracuse. How would you rate Syracuse?
Worse than LSU. Yeah,
Boston College.
probably worse than LSU. Yeah.
I mean, they have not played an
Yeah.
LSU opponent. That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. And it's like,
Yeah.
and I understand that, like, you really can't tell what the strength of a record is until the end of the year, really. You can't, I mean,
Yeah.
really, I mean, you could for the first week of the playoff, you could say, okay, well, this is how your season went. But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
Notre Dame has not played someone they haven't played someone that's as good as Iowa. They haven't played
Yep.
someone that's as good as LSU.
I
They
mean, I
haven't played
guess that
someone that's
really it's weird. Navy's probably the best team that they've played and beat. I mean,
in a
besides
month.
USC. Besides
Yeah,
USC,
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah, and I
they blew
do.
the doors off of them. But Navy also hadn't
Yeah.
played anyone. We don't know anything about Navy yet either. But
Yeah,
I was
and
looking at that the other
I
day.
do hear what you're saying. I definitely agree with you in this point. I just hear it thrown out a lot of strength of record, and this team played this many ranked teams, and blah blah blah. And it's always like it's always like it never equals out to the end of the season to me. And just like me complaining about Iowa, if Iowa wins out, they're not going to make the playoffs because they have 3 losses. Now, 2 of their losses came against top 10 teams, probably playoff teams. But guess what? I hate to tell you, I say it for the SEC all the time. Win your games and you're in. You can't have 3 losses and bitch about your schedule and say, "Oh, well, it's because we play a hard schedule." Well, sorry, I don't like win your games and you're in. That's just like Oregon. Oregon's kind of got a tough road to go through. They
Yep.
played Iowa this week, and then they played Minnesota, which is just a common common Big Ten team that if you don't show
Minnesota's
up,
scrappy. I kind of like PJ
yeah,
Fleck's team this year. I like
I do
Drake
too.
Lindsey a lot.
And then they play USC, and then they play Washington at Washington. Like that's
Those
not
are
an
definitely
easy.
3 losable games.
Yeah, that's not an easy end of the season schedule. But they have 1 loss. They can give one up, but they really can't because where they sit. And it's like win your games and you're in. I hate that sometimes because I really want USC to be in too because I think they're a good team. But they already have 2 losses. Oregon has 1. Like something's got to give there. And I think that's where it comes into play where I don't like the pre-rankings until like this week. I don't even think we should have ACC or AP rankings because it's
And the
like,
AP rankings are bad. I do agree.
yeah, they're horrible. I mean, and that's kind of where I'm at just because you inflate all these records and then towards the end of the season you still have that in your mind of the inflation of the record.
All right, but I do think they've introduced a metric now.
Yes.
On 3,
Yeah.
introduced it, strength of record. But that's all I got. Is there any other game that you wanted to talk about real quick? I know we talked about a few games specifically. There wasn't a whole lot of just bangers.
No, and the Cal Louisville game, I'm anxious to see. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm anxious to see what the committee does this week with the rankings because we had some movement. We had some teams lose in close games, but where is the difference? And like, are we? I'm just anxious to see what happens Because like
Yeah, no, I know
Vanderbilt
what you're saying. I agree.
Losing to Auburn is like, or Vanderbilt beating Auburn. Sorry. I mean, what are we gonna do about that game? Like, you
I
can't.
say keep them right where they are.
Yeah, I mean, I could
Um,
see that, but I don't
yeah,
know.
I
I
don't even
don't
know what they're
really.
ranked, to be honest with
They're
you.
ranked 15th.
Well,
And to me, Vanderbilt's lost both of the big games that they've played. Um, they, I mean, I guess they beat Missouri, but we just seen Missouri get dog walked by Texas A&M. So
yeah,
it's like
Missouri's
it's that.
quarterback also didn't play in that game. He got
Yeah,
hit the week
you're
before.
right. Yeah, you're right. But it's like, they've struggled against a bad LSU team. They struggled against a bad Auburn team. Um, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I know that they're like, I think everybody in the committee and everybody in the country is going to do everything they can to get Vanderbilt in the playoffs because it's like, you know, the darling of the SEC this year. I'm anxious to see what they do with them. I'm anxious to see what they do with Iowa. Iowa had a 2-point loss at home against the number ninth ranked team, and they're number 20th. So it's like, what are we going to do with them? Are we going to drop Louisville and Washington, or Louisville and
Virginia.
Virginia out? Are we going to drop them out? Is Texas A&M going to move up? I mean, I don't know. It was a decent win that they had. It was on the road. What are we going to do with BYU? Is BYU going to drop all the way out? Are they going to drop to the top 20? Like, what are we going to do with that? And then Memphis, which, I mean, who is our group of 5 team that's going to be in? That's the next big question because Memphis lost. I don't think we should force a group of 5 team personally.
They're
There's a few
gonna.
out there. There's a few out there. I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, not Navy now because they lost, but isn't Army pretty good this year?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Um, I think Army. No, never mind. Well, I thought one of them was kind of good. Yeah, Army's 5-4. Yeah, I don't.
Navy. I
That's
mean, Navy's got one loss now.
no, they have 2.
Oh, they have two. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know who
lost
they're
to
going to
Air
put in the
Force.
group of 5 slot. Why do we have a group of 5 slot? Why is that a thing? I don't. Great question.
Yeah, I don't.
Great question.
I don't know, man. I'm anxious to see what happens, and I know you don't really. You like regular season, and I do too. I'm not wanting to fast forward through the season at all. I think I'm ready for playoff football, though. I'm ready for the carnage. I'm ready to see what happens. And maybe some of that has to do with this week, last week, and the next 2 weeks. We don't really play anybody as Ohio State, so not saying I'm looking forward, but um,
You're looking forward to some competition, but the best week in Ohio State's whole season is coming up.
yeah,
It's coming up.
yeah, you're right. That's the best week in football.
Yeah,
And it's
by far.
crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man, because we're coming up on week 12, and it's wild because I look forward, which the playoffs do help because like you have football all the way through the middle of January, but it's just wild that we're almost through regular season.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like since we're doing the podcast, it almost like it goes faster.
Yeah, it does, and it's just like we've had games, but like we haven't really had like crazy like matchup games, but we have I don't know. It's a weird year, and we kind of both said that it's a weird year. Um, and I know we haven't had much movement like in the top 3, especially, but just give it time. I mean, all it takes is Ohio State losing the last game of the season, and then Texas A&M losing to Texas, and Iowa losing somewhere, but they probably won't. So we might have one undefeated team at the end of the season, and everybody's like, "Holy crap! What do we do now?" So that's what I'm ready for. I'm ready to see something happen, something crazy.
I'm excited
Besides
for.
Ohio State losing the
Next
next
week
game.
I'm going to LSU. I'm going to watch Arkansas
Oh
play
yeah,
the
that's right.
Tigers in Baton Rouge. I will be in a hotel with actual Wi-Fi though, and I should have phone service if I remember LSU correctly. They have phone service pretty well down there, so we'll be able to do the pod on Sunday. I'm excited for that, but I'm really excited for Arkansas's got 3 games left. 3 teams I hate. All we have to do is beat. If we just beat one of them, just beat one of them. That's all I want, and we'll call this season what it is. We'll move on with our lives, and we'll start. We'll get ready for basketball. I'm not a huge baseball fan, so after that it'll be misery again. But that's all I got, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Make sure if y'all did watch the pod, comment what you thought. Maybe fact check us if you think we're wrong about something or if you think we're just dumb.
Yeah, for sure.
We got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Don't be mean though. I will if I do know you personally. I'll fight you. So just let you know that. And then we're gonna move on with our lives. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's week. We will see y'all on Thursday.